5. A recording of this meeting is being made and shall be kept for 30 days as public record. Everybody stand for the pledge of allegiance. Brittany?
Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, my kid's about to be here. I was hoping he'd be here for that, so you pick on him.
One more time.
Yeah.
Roll call. I am here. Robert Gonzalez is here. Cindy Hepburn is here. Wade Moore is absent. Jim Bender is here. And Lexi Finch is here. Motion to approve the agenda. Second by Hepburn, seconded by Mr. Gonzalez. All in favor?
Aye.
Said I.
We're drowning you out.
Okay, reports. CSEA.
Good evening, everyone. We just wanted to say a couple of thank yous, actually, because we've had some very productive meetings with the district and with different admins at different sites. We want to thank everyone for listening to our concerns and working hard to resolve them. We haven't had a concern that hasn't been resolved right away. We have been included in numerous interviews where our opinions have been heard, and we thank you guys for that as well, because we're getting a lot of classified employees that are moving up for positions. We also have a lot of people turning in their receipts for the boot and shoe reimbursement, and that's something we recently negotiated, and we're hearing lots of thank yous and praise for that. So soon we'll also be getting more shirts for our classified people that retired as well. So we just want to say that.
Very nice to hear. RTA.
All right, well, currently the teachers of Southern Green Valley School District are finishing up the first progress report period of the school year, which means we're about halfway done with the first quarter. So RTA will be holding our building representative election on September 15th and 16th. If any RTA member is interested in running for a position, please fill out the proper form and email it in by 2 p.m. on September 13th. We will be using the Simply Voting again for the elections, so look for that email on the 15th. Only RTA members may run and vote. We need reps. Please run to help our union here at Southern Current Unified School District. Also, RTA would like to thank Leanne and HR for filling the many vacant teaching positions, and we continue filling the vacant positions. I know this has not been easy. Also, with negotiations, the RTA and the district have agreed upon 2 dates in September to continue the negotiation process. RTA also looks forward to hearing the district's counter proposals and their proposals at the next meeting, and I hope they are eager to hear ours. Lastly, there have been many concerns at Tropical Middle School during the beginning of the school year, and I know the site principals and the district will continue to work on these issues. I know that has been a big change at Tropical Middle School. And that's pretty much it.
Good one.
Good evening, everyone. So the volleyball team has a game tomorrow, and then we also go to Mammoth leaving Friday. Cross country has started practicing, and we also have started planning homecoming and the pep rally that goes with that, as well as the spirit week.
And how are all things doing?
Volleyball has gone undefeated so far, and football has not won a game, but hopeful that they will win this Friday.
Is there plans for Powder Puff this year?
Yes, there are. Those are, I think senior class mentioned that in our last meeting. That should be happening the Wednesday.
I have to say, rules that were required, so we have to the principals, so you guys have had that. So try to make it safe as possible for everybody.
Team?
Yep.
Why? Because you scored so many touchdowns.
I've written around to protect them, but protect everybody.
CBO report. Mr. Irving.
Working on unaudited actuals so that, Almond has something for the board packet for next week. And also that, they're done before the state, would like them on the 15th. Very convenient, the board meeting's the 14th. Lets me run right up to that deadline. I want to point out something in the consent agenda items. Item G for prime painting. Total of that, here I'm gonna make sure I'm on the right thing, or
Report.
yeah. So the overall total at the bottom of that quote includes the bid alternate. So just want to point that out on there that if there's base bid versus the alternate, that if you guys want to do one but not the other, that that that's how it's on there. And I wish they would have given two quotes that had option A and option B, but this is how they presented it. So I just want to point that out for a little bit of clarity. And then yeah, everything else is going okay in business. I believe we're on the 300s of POs at this point, which is about half of, I think we did 800 last year, and we're already, we're beginning of September with PO number 300 and something. So Talia's been very busy. So.
Now, back to the
Sorry.
proposal.
Mm-hmm.
The base bid and the alternate bid, that included everything that we had asked for the extra painting that we wanted them to do.
Yes.
That's for both things that we asked.
Yes, yes. And then building trim and then doors, ramps, everything, so that it's not all shades of.
That was not in the original bid package.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Is that something they'll be able to complete pretty quickly?
Hopefully. They're still working on high school signage. Should be here. I think it arrived today, so that they can finally have door numbers and all the nice identifier things that are helpful at the high school instead of paper taped to the door that says room 107 or whatever. Make it look slightly more official and rain proof. Really, 2 or 3 days a year we get rain.
Schools are looking really good.
Yeah.
And
Assistant Superintendent of Instruction and Curriculum.
Good evening, everyone. Yesterday was our first grading committee with Ken O'Connor. That went pretty well. Tomorrow we have our first MTSS elementary meeting with Dr. Becky Wetzel. That will be at West Park. We are starting, and one of the consent items in here today is for one day of the coaching. We're going to be doing coaching with Doug Fisher, where they meet with the site administrators and the leadership team once a month to coach them on what we learned for visible learning this summer and keep them on track. So we didn't just have that staff development this summer. We want to continue that work and keep us on track and keep us moving forward with that. And he's going to help us do that. So, So the consent item today is just for this month, and then we'll have another consent item once we set the rest of the month's dates up for you. And I think that's going to be just such a huge, powerful thing for our school sites to have that work together. Also, I'm working on setting up the first pilot for Roseman High School Science Department and with STEM Scopes. The next one will be with McGraw-Hill, and the third one will be with Savas. We had piloted a few last year, but they weren't satisfied with them. So we decided to go ahead and try out some different other companies this year. And so we'll be setting that up and starting that shortly. Also, the wonderful ladies in my office went out and did multiple attendance home visits today to some of our students' homes that have not been attending school regularly to talk to the parents about the importance of attendance and being in school on a regular basis. So kudos to them. I just want to thank them for taking that initiative and going out there and doing that.
How'd that go?
Pretty well for the ones that we're able to talk to, or we'll see. Some people didn't answer the doors, but they did try. They were seen. So I'm hoping we'll have a positive impact.
Associate Superintendent of Human Resources, Ms. Leanne.
Good evening. HR has been busy, and as always, still looking to fill a few spots. We have been fortunate enough to be able to fill a few spots. We had a new teacher start last week in one of our special ed classrooms at Reston Elementary, so that was exciting to be able to fill that. Our PE teacher that is going to be starting at Tropico, coming from the Philippines, he has arrived. He just has a few things he needs to get in order before he can start. So we're hoping that maybe by the middle to the end of next week, he'll be able to start and we'll have that spot filled. And just a huge thank you to Paul over the last couple of days. He has done lots and lots of interviews, and thank you to CSCA. Yesterday was a really long day yesterday was para-educator interviews, and they started at 12:45 and they went until about 4:15, 4:30. Today they did interviews for custodial CSO, and there were some interviews for ACES, but those did not happen. We had some people that weren't able to come for those, so a much needed area, but really has been really difficult for some reason this year to fill those spots. But just looking at, the number of people that have put in for, that are interested in positions with the district is really encouraging. So hopefully those, some of those people that, new to the district or whatever, if they were not chosen for those positions, that they will want to be part of the subpool. And then we have, some staff that, maybe they're going to be moving around if they were selected, and then so then we'll have a hole over here. So it's just kind of a game of fill the holes, So we definitely look forward to having some sub pools in different areas. We have our stationary billboard that was posted up last week. So we still have our digital billboard that is right as you're coming into Steve Owens Park in Lancaster. Our stationary billboard is located on the northbound side of the 14 freeway as you're coming in to Palmdale. So it's on that right-hand side. So, just hoping that, we're just getting our message out there that, hey, you know what, Rooson's here and it's a great place to work. So, and then some of our current postings, things that we posted over the last week, some stipend positions for some certificated staff, and we have our Math and Media Academies, Saturday School, Credit Recovery, and then we did post for our clubs, and that also consists of both certificated and classified staff. So you'll see some of those clubs that they would like to have on our campus in our board agenda today. So,
Okay. Superintendent Gaines.
Thank you. I would like to say welcome to everyone who's joining us at home this evening, and also this wonderful group of leaders who are here with us in person this evening. I want to remind all of our parents that back to school night for grades 9 through 12 will be next Wednesday, September 14th. So please plan to get out and visit with your child's teachers and enjoy the evening at our high schools. I'd like to congratulate Coach Morris and her girls varsity volleyball team for being undefeated. Yes, undefeated. That's pretty That is pretty amazing. Wow. I can't even imagine what that's like. I also want to give a shout out to Alicia Cambalisa and her cheerleaders. If you've been to a Roseman High football game, those girls are really doing, announced girls and guys are really doing a great job leading school spirit at the high school. And I want to tell them that Alma and I ordered some little footballs that are going to have the Roseman High Roadrunners on them in black and white. I wanted red, but they have to see if they can find me the red ones. So the goal here is that every time we score a touchdown in football, the cheerleaders will be throwing some of these little footballs out to the stands. So Alicia, if you're watching, the little footballs have been ordered. And congratulations to your cheerleading squad. I know that they really do a great job. And I also want to thank Fallon for your very kind words. It's been a real pleasure working with you and Keith and your team this year so far. And I look forward to a long-lasting relationship with us. Last week, I had the pleasure of meeting with our new RTA president. And I initially was thinking, how long would it take me to get over Jimmy? And, but I realized that I'm working through that, and now that John and I are meeting regularly every month, and we've got it calendared, and we go from what's good for RTA, and then we segue into the latest movie, and then we go back to RTA and the district. So it's a wonderful meeting with an amazing agenda. So, John, thank you, and I look forward to great negotiations with you and your team, and just working with you from this day forward as well. So I think that's pretty much. Yeah, I can't believe the heat, and I want to thank Ed Services team because their air conditioning has been out. And they have been moving wherever they could here and over to the college center just to be able to continue doing their work every day until their air conditioning is fixed. Thank you, Ms. Lacy, and your team. Very hot, I get it. Well, that's it for me.
Lacy's on our buses too. Can we move around somewhere?
Sure.
You have to join me in the office over with old Hamilton on the floor. You kids will never go.
Your turn.
I don't know, I just want to thank everybody, and I believe we're doing a great job, and our school's looking good, and I'd like to see our team's doing so well, and you know, we want to take great pride in our sports and our teams. Everything they do, we want to be proud of them, and we're doing a good job. I'm just thankful for everything we have, and I know she's on the volleyball team too, right? Is that why we're winning?
She's taking the paper too. Yeah.
So, thanks everybody for all the hard work.
Hello all. Glad to see everybody here. And kind of echo a little bit of what Jim said. You guys are all doing a great job, and we couldn't educate all these kids and run this district without you guys. I was able to attend the back to school night at Tropical Middle School last week, which was really nice. I liked the way it was run. I was like, okay, I'm going first period, going second period, third period. It was really nice. So that was enjoyable, and I know middle school kids are very difficult. And Ed, you're doing a great job.
Thanks.
And yeah, that's all I have.
Well, again, thanks for everybody for coming here. I wasn't sure if I was going to make it tonight, but I made it. And I heard that high school has had a couple of assemblies already. Is that true?
We had the spring assemblies and the second week of school.
How did that go? Pretty good?
Yeah.
Do we have it? 9, 10, 11, 12.
I know we had talked about it, and I think it's really great that we get bringing those back. I hope every school brings those back. And again, thanks for everybody's here, everybody who's in, listening. Well, I want to welcome Connor and Kenny Price to the football coaching staff. That will be taken care of tonight. We're looking forward to bigger and better things to come all around down all our sports programs. And again, thank you for the administrators who have been sending the emails. I have a little folder in my phone that I can refer back to, okay, well, what's happening here, what's happening there. So if I can, I will try to meet some of these events that you're having. So please keep them coming. And the more that I get, the more information I have. And I'm not afraid to have these guys know what's going on too. It comes down to that. That's important. Other than that, that's all I have.
Just want to thank everybody for a great job you guys have been doing. I can't believe we're over halfway through a quarter already. Close to. I mean, it's almost like we just started. This year has flown by. No. The last week has been dragging on because of the heat.
This weekend, last week.
I know. It's
We're
been
ready for
miserable.
Saturday.
Yeah, might be rain.
You
It's
come
pretty humid
with
though, so I don't know if that's good.
It's been miserable. Okay.
I just have one more thing. Sorry. Okay. I really enjoyed reading the reports from the schools. Really, I have a comment where the West Park, if you don't mind using maybe a second piece of paper, make it a little bit bigger so I can read it. You can waste 2 pieces of paper, just enlarge it, print a little bit for me. But Mr. Torres, I really want to put a thumbs out to you. Sometimes it seems like Rare Earth gets overlooked a little bit, but you're doing a fantastic job over there getting these kids graduated, getting them ahead, getting them, and I know I've got a student over there, and you've got them back up on track and graduating even a little earlier if they stay on pace. So you're doing an excellent job over there. I want to thank you for that. I know a lot of times it seems like we just sort of skip over them, but I really want to let you know that you're doing a great job. It's being seen, and I really appreciate all the hard work of all the teachers and everything.
Thank you. Anything from the public? Consent item B through F. Anybody have any questions?
We're recycling the instruments.
Yes.
I saw the bills for new ones, so we're recycling the old ones.
Yeah, these are outdated and a little bit older, so they're going off for surplus. So that they can be upcycled somewhere else.
Okay, approved, that we accept the consent item.
Motion by Ms. Lutz, seconded by Ms. Hepburn. All in favor?
No, it was Spanish.
No, it's Alexa. Oh, we got her.
And I should never do it again.
No, she had better do it. I've been pushing her.
Sure.
Everybody, but I have been pushing her a little bit to actively get more involved in some of this. Thank you.
Okay.
Well done.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Ms. Finch. Board goals and workshop session. Ms. King.
2D.
Be careful. It's been jumping.
It's been jumping. It's been jumping.
No, you're good.
Here's the black Robert. You get my black. Red, purple. I like purple. All right. Sorry, I was trying to get yeah, it's just so I need for the board to be able to see it as well. Yeah.
Just like,
Okay. I did work well on that one. Okay, every year, about this time of the year, we gather information from the Board of Trustees so that Cabinet and I can work really hard through the year to meet as many of your goals as we possibly can. I'm going to give you a little heads up. Moving RES is a problem. I cannot do it. That traffic problem is pretty much, although I swear Mr. Adams is not here, but Casey, I have not heard one thing about Fresno emergency traffic. I've said it every board meeting, and I'm going to be doing it eventually. Knock on wood.
We haven't been stuffing their traffic, so we're good.
You're good. Thank you so much. So,
Not been bad.
yeah. So board members,
Working really hard on it.
I was, obviously that's a joke, but I'm interested, we're working really hard, we have new curriculum, we are working really hard to build capacity in all the employees, bringing in some top-notch people. As you've heard Mrs. Lacey talk about Dr. Doug Fisher, Dr. Kate Kinsella, we brought in a math person for secondary. We have a lot of professional development. We've held a lot already, and we have a lot more. Dr. Becky Wetzel is working with our elementary and middle school this year to work on the multi-tiered systems of support plan to really provide needed intervention for kids at all levels. So those are some of the things. As you know, Mario, we have 2 construction projects underway and possibly a third one before we know it. So there's a lot going on right now in Southern Kern. So as you think of those kind of things, what are some of the things that you personally as board members would like to see accomplished for the district and in support of our community?
One of my big ones is try to get the reading goals up from what they were last year and the year before, because we fell behind. And also to get our math, because we had a big fall off from elementary school to middle school. See if we can get those in line, and by getting those in line, they'll get the high school in line along with from middle school. So.
Okay. What else?
I'm going to throw in, again, because you formed your subcommittee for safety and security. We need to not only get that subcommittee up and running with each of the schools, but come up with a plan for that committee on how we're going to implement and keep everybody involved.
Okay.
Committee is the head of 16 and controls CSOs or anything like that.
I'd like to see a game plan on that pre-K school.
Site admin.
Game plan on pre-K.
That's a good one.
What?
I
never. I did the one. Oh, never
We
mind.
got one, but we want
Well,
to refine it a little bit and get it up.
well, yeah,
Well,
We got a plan, but it's,
We've started it.
yeah, it's started.
and it'd be something we can try to complete this year, would be nice.
Well, it's a 3-year plan. So.
Yeah.
The part we're doing this year is
We have
going.
it going by 2/25, right?
Yeah, we started, we've increased the number of students going because we've increased the dates.
I don't
Instead
even.
of being stopped in, what was it, February? Wait, December, now it's February. So we have more students enrolled, we have an extra TK class open. And so each year we're moving the date to increase the number. But yep, we're in process for that, but we can keep you updated and keep going with that. I can bring that back and talk to you about it.
Working on trying to get you some classrooms.
Yeah.
That's the part of the problem.
There's the big
That's my
problem
bad.
right
I mean,
there.
we got a game plan of students, but our facility.
Yeah, and we're waiting to hear, remember, here's the, let me just add something to what Ms. Lacy was saying. The governor set aside $250 million for the entire state of California to modernize or construct preschool TK classrooms. The application pool equated to $1.5 billion. It's a little more than that 250 million. So we're hoping, we've been informed that we still may have a good chance to receive some of that 250 million. We're hoping that we will. And once we do, then that too will be hopefully headed to DSA
So
eventually.
we're definitely gonna have to revise that plan.
One of the biggest
That's some
problems
different
is they require classrooms to be at least 1,300 square feet with a brick inside. All our classrooms at RES that we're looking at are just under 1,000. So we are gonna have to, each wing is only gonna be a 2-classroom wing. And that's gonna be real expensive to do, but we're working on it. We're working with the consultants and every Monday from 8 to 10.
Construction
Construction.
Fun stuff.
and stuff. But it is moving.
Yeah, we'll get
Tropico Middle School is out of DSA. We've already flown bids for, do we have bids yet? Or we
It did jump off today.
did the job walk today, so that place is gonna become crazy, Mr. Shevlin, put a smile on your face. Sooner than later. 28 new classrooms, 7 new buildings, and I don't know how many new restrooms, and new tracks, and new fields, and lots of stuff.
4 bathrooms.
Yeah.
2 boys and 2 girls, each with 4 stalls on each side.
Some like science type STEM rooms that could be like project-based learning type
You said it's gonna be
environments.
3 stories, right?
How many?
Like 3 stories?
4.
4.
You'll learn. You'll learn. I can play your game.
I don't know. That's what I thought.
Okay, what else have we got? These are great things so far. Don't let me off the hook easy. I've only got 4 things here.
What about like the water fountain situation? So like when the kids can take their water bottles and actually,
We
Fill
talked
them
about that
up.
before. We're-
rather than just, sucking it from the faucet with filtration or reverse osmosis or something fancy and green. It doesn't have to be that, but I'm just saying.
I'm gonna put it down.
No working water.
They did try it at the high school.
Yeah.
What's that?
They did, I think Mr. Bender was saying, they did try it at the high school. I don't know what went wrong though. Something went wrong.
Yeah, I know we were trying the bottle refill stations, they're called.
Yeah. It's,
That was quite a few years back, but.
The COVID hit, that's what happened.
I don't know.
The water dispensers.
Right.
Had that for Monday. Wanted to have a discussion. Well, we will be here next month. I'd like to discuss that in our building meeting. I think that's a good, that would be good to be in our building meetings that we have on Monday.
Okay.
Because if as we're in the middle of construction, that's the time to bring in that type of maybe a filtration system that we can use to go to on a different day. So that's something we.
Let me just remind the board, although this is not something directly involved or not really related to our 6 school sites, but it is something that the community is, a couple things that the community has approached us about. Maybe this is something we want to at least try to come to a resolution or not. This year, one is a historical museum, maybe on one of our campuses. Recently discussed with Ms. Gretchen Winfrey of possibly using an older modular, the old RES, Robert, thank you. Maybe someday converting that into a historical museum. They have a lot of things that they would like to preserve that the kids could visit, not only our district children, but other districts close by. So is that something the board is interested in us at least figuring out, can we, or?
I think that'd be a good idea. Our town has a lot of history. So I would really like that to go. I think we talked about that before. Thought we had the okay to start pursuing something like that already.
Well, the problem, Mr. Bender, the last time we talked about it, we talked about the 2 modulars located near Raleigh's office, and neither one of them have a bathroom, and they need so much work that to move them with a crane and do all the things that would be needed. Raleigh came up with the idea that there is a location over at the old RES where there are 2 restrooms in between these 2 buildings that once the modernization is done, it would not be the area that's probably going to be that used for the historical museum. And Miss Winfrey was very excited about it.
Do they have to go on campus to get there?
Raleigh said that there would have to be a little fencing done that would isolate the people going to the museum from the rest of the campus. They'd have their own entrance and exit out of the museum. But that could all be planned once it's decided that that's where we would allow them to proceed.
There's plenty of parking and all that over there.
Sure that there's a lot of parking.
Not the walk.
Not a lot of parking, but they have really, at this point in time, according to Ms. Winfrey, they don't have a lot of options.
Yeah, I know they don't. That's why
Yeah.
I'm really interested in trying to help them do something. But if I'm going to visit it, I don't want to be
You don't want to walk.
worried about parking. If the school's going on, there's all the parking spots are full. I mean, we've got a lot of room over here.
Not too many people park on that area over by old RES. Maybe we could make it like a formal parking lot area. We don't own it.
Oh, no. You can't do that, don't do that.
We could, but it would really not be what bode well for us.
And I think, I think another thing that I would advise the board to look into and maybe come to some resolution or decision about, which I hear it everywhere I go in this community, is and I hate to hear me say it again, United Street Park. I think, somehow we need to either get with, water, RCSD, thank you, and really, really put our heads together, maybe with some of the other organizations in the community and say, what can be done and who all wants to participate in that process? Because it's not looking any better out there. Robert and I have driven out there a few times, and it's definitely needs some work. A little dry.
I think that's a good idea to like maybe get together with the Community Services District, AYSO, us, and really come up with a plan as to how and what to do and how to manage it, because it was beautiful when it was a park. Like, I took my kid out there, had movies out there, my kids would play soccer out there. It was beautiful, and in the right hands, I think if we came together with a plan to maintain it, and we're all responsible in some shape, way, or form.
We have to have some partnership.
Yeah.
It's not just AYSO, but the youth
I
sports.
mean, in general, that's what I was
Yeah, I
thinking
know,
of, yeah.
because of that, but, you know, the letter that came out is very correct. There are times when practice fields, even at the high school, are full. And even for the high school, we need to, I mean, there's a lot of places that have got these areas that are built for, so that they can go up and do their practice, have practice games, whatever. Because like you take soccer, you got girls playing, you got boys playing. You gotta have, you know, it's hard to play junior varsity and the varsities to follow. Then you gotta do this different days, whatever. And because of transportation, some people don't like to do that. So we've got those fields up and running. Baseball, there's good places for the kids to practice. It's been, you know, it's like we've lost a lot of that when we put in the new Roseman Elementary. Because you had all those fields were constantly being used by the sports in that. So we gotta definitely take a look at it, and I agree with Mario. We need to do a partnership.
I think we need to decide what to do with that park this year, either get rid of it or do something with it.
Yeah,
Sell
I
it,
just put,
plan on building a school, but we need to do something, make a decision what to do with it. If
I
it's not a
agree,
good
Jeff.
school site, then we need to figure out what to do with it. Get rid of it, get another school site, something in the plan.
which I think should be maybe our next board item. I don't know if some of you are thinking about that. The one thing that we are fully aware of is there is a fault line on this 10 acres that would probably restrict us from building a very big school in the area where the fault line is. I don't know, I can't imagine the fault line not doing damage if it
I've
is.
seen the drawings on the fault lines. That's why if you drive down the street above, you go down and see those fault lines are actually, I mean, they're older than hills, but they're actually on those properties. That's why they had to build the houses back.
It's not
No, it's not on our property at all.
You have to be so far away from it though.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, if there's a fault anywhere near there, I was told the fault does hit, I think, the northwest corner of that 10 acres. I don't know.
I've seen the drawings with fault lines, it doesn't.
Okay.
I'm sure if the fault fell apart, we'd be in big trouble anywhere we built.
Yeah, exactly.
Who cares where it's at?
That's what I'm trying to say, Jim. I'm trying to say that. I was trying to say that, but Jim, you said it best. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me on that. Wouldn't want to have our children there at any given time. I think that another thing that you guys may want to, and I know you talked about this as well, is thinking futuristic for the children, the students of Southern Kern 10, 15 years, whenever, the way we're growing, 5, 10 years from now, is the purchase of additional parcels. If United Street Park is not where we think we could build an elementary school of any size, RES is huge, West Park is huge. There are a couple parcels that I mentioned to you, 10-acre parcels that we might want to look at. One of them is a little further west, which would probably be the direction that we may need to go eventually. So I know, and I shared this with you, one of the things we did at the college has very little land left around it, but there was 30 acres to the west of the football field, and we decided as a board to purchase that, even though we spent $8.5 million for that land, only because down the road there would be something left for the college to grow on if they needed additional buildings or housing for the kids, whatever. So it might be something, the purchase of additional parcels, 1 or 2 parcels, just to hold on to. Thoughts?
Yep.
Put it down. Okay. Anything else?
I guess to look into that new law of the 2025 of the gas mowers and all that, and see if we're gonna have to go with that.
Yeah. Grant that, was it boron just had already gone to?
Gas versus electric. Gas versus electric. Electric what?
Mowers.
Mowers. Okay.
And if that's something we need to do, we probably need to check in on why the grants are so low. Hate to be forced to do it, we don't get any money in 2 years from now.
The young man from the hardware, was it Kenny? No, Sam. Anything else?
Okay, I missed that.
Nope, sorry. It was a question. So, I've got a rant, I don't know, so with the museum that we were talking about, could it go to be at United Park, or does it have to be on one of the campuses?
Well, we don't have money to build.
And we have to like move it or something?
Yeah, if you put anything on the park, you have to go through geological surveys. Yeah.
DSA.
So that they look up the water, power.
Yeah.
I believe just hook up with one company is like $60,000 now.
There's something.
Never gonna build. Never gonna build.
There's like a,
There's a storage container.
Yeah.
We just need to talk about building up.
Oh, yeah, those like, the, shipping container houses?
Any of the rooftops.
I can actually say, Jim, since I've been here, I've never looked into solar. Is that a direction you would?
Yeah, just ask questions.
We could look into it, but.
Yeah.
Yeah, find out cost, if it's, I mean,
The last time we looked into it, no, it was about 5 or 6 years.
2000.
Yeah, it was about 5 or 6 years ago. It would cost us $3 million to get it built. And we
I
said,
know everybody wants to charge the school because it's big money, but, I can have it put on my house for free. So, I mean, maybe there's something out there.
No, that was even after the rebates.
I know, but maybe there's something out there now. Just if you could check on it. Couple quick questions, and then also I'd like to revisit again because I know we got rejected first time, but can we lease our water rights? We've got money sitting here. We can lease it. We could do something to maybe water that field over there. I mean, it's not like we're making money. We're donating to water our field. I mean, I guess you have to get them high dollar lawyers to try to reword that right, but is there a way of doing it? It'd be nice.
We have met with them a couple of times, including Robert and Raleigh, and gotta be very careful how I word this. Both times I walked out of the meeting knowing that we have an excess in water, but not really sure who will manage and really let us know how much we're using on a daily or monthly basis. So, but we will go back to the drawing board on this because the last time we talked about this, it was for United Street Park.
And that's one way. Somehow we need to either fix it where it doesn't cost us, because we can't afford to do it, or wipe our hands and get rid of it, one or the other. Because it is a nuisance. I mean, build houses on it. But if somebody wants to build a house, just whatever. But it's just a dirt field over there that causes problems if we can't afford to do anything. Or if we can't get help from the Rosemead Community Service District. I mean, you think that's what they're for, they help us out a bit.
And the last time we had a meeting about it, Laura Lynn from Supervisor Scribner's office, they're also concerned or would like to participate in the process and in the planning of what could be done there, but not really hearing. There's a lot of people interested in coming forward and helping, and they want the problem to go away. I'm not really hearing a whole lot of offerings with regard to the cost of what it would take for us to reseed that field, for us to put in the sprinklers, for us to turn on our water, and how fast will we consume whatever excess water we have. So there's a lot of,
With the parks that we have here, like over there, the park over here, the park over here, is the water paid by the people? Is that who waters the parks now? Like Parks and Rec, is that who the community services district? My tax dollars, right?
Tax dollars. Yeah, I think part of it comes from property tax.
Right, so is that not something, I know we own that particular piece of land over there.
that's the problem.
Right, I'm just.
Donate it back to the parks, something.
We have rejected,
Because they cost money.
Yeah.
That's the
Rosemead has
problem.
rejected, what, 2 or 3 times a tax so that we could do that. And the people aren't willing to pay, that's been the problem. We have to go out and really sell it in order to do it. Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah, it's true.
It's changed, it's grown, it's still growing, and everybody hates that particular, piece of land over there. So we need to change it. We need to definitely take ownership of it. And we need to talk about it and decide what we can do. But I think that should be something as well, like, hey, residents, make it better.
And there could be someone out there, I'm not saying I advise the board to sell it. However, there could be an entity out there that if it was put on the market, it may see it and want to do something for the community. I don't know. We would never know until a decision was made to try that route.
Or exchange it.
Exchange it.
Exchange it.
Yeah. Anything else?
That's a lot.
That is a lot. I'm not saying add more, but I'm just making sure you've all had an opportunity for a voice here, and I'm sure I'll hear from Mr. Moore, his ideas as well. Going, gone. Thank you.
Okay, we need to approve a board meeting for Wednesday, September the 21st, 2022, at 7 p.m. Board room. That we're scheduled for next week, and then we have to schedule for the following week. There's construction stuff that's coming out, and there's something else.
Construction, and we may also have, I'm not sure if Mr. Wexler will have the LCAP revisions on for next week's board action, or will be next week. Then we may also have expulsion or two, so there was, we felt there was a need.
Move that we go ahead with scheduled meeting.
I second.
All in favor? Public hearing for proposed LCAP local control and accountability plan. We need to recess to do the review, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Need a motion?
I'll move.
Motion by Ms. Lett, seconded by? Second. All in favor? Feel good?
Should have jumped in there, Leslie.
Okay, hi everyone. I'd like to talk to you about revisions that we've made to the LCAP. In the previous board meeting on June 22nd, the board approved the LCAP. Since that time, we have worked with KCSOS, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, as well as the LCAP committee, to make some revisions to the LCAP, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. The revisions are focused on our carryover funds. So from last year, we had a budget of over $9 million, and we spent $4.7 million, and then there's an additional concentration grant. The bottom line is we have $5.34 million in carryover funds from last year to this year, money that we didn't spend last year from last year's LCAP that we need to budget for this year's LCAP. So we have worked with KCSOS and the LCAP committee to develop new actions to budget for spending the carryover funds. We also have made revisions to our existing actions. We've added funds to those actions. So what we're going to look at tonight is those revisions that we've made to the LCAP. And this is part of, the LCAP is a collaborative process between the district and the community. This is part of that collaborative process. So we are soliciting feedback from the board and from the attendees of this meeting with regards to the proposed actions and revisions to the LCAP. So as I'm presenting, if you have questions or comments, you can voice them, or you can wait until the end, whatever you prefer. Okay, so we're going to start with new actions. Our first new action is interventionists. The interventionists are credentialed teachers who will work with students individually in small groups. They will analyze student data to see what students need. They'll provide coaching to teachers as well. I'll give you a minute to read this. The budget for the interventionist is $700,000. It's 5 interventionist positions, one at each school site, calling all at one site. Okay. Questions or comments about interventionists? Okay. Next is Goal 1, Action 29, Math Intervention. We've always had a reading intervention program, but we want to now add a math intervention program. So we have some new curriculum to use for the math intervention program. We have a budget of $92,000 that'll pay for the new curriculum as well as professional development for the teachers who will be using that curriculum. I'll give you a minute to read that.
Go in line with one of our goals to bring the math up to par.
Low scores on. Okay, any questions, comments about the new math intervention action? Okay, next is workout stations for the students in the community. We're constructing a new track at Tropical Middle School, and we want to add workout stations to that track, 2 separate workout stations. Those will be available to the Tropical Middle students as part of their PE program. They'll be available to the community in the evenings, on weekends, over vacations, etc.
We know what type of like workout stage it's gonna be like a Muscle Beach or something like that. Dumbbells laying there.
Barbara, I'm going to pass this question to you.
I'm sorry, I was trying to answer this.
No, yeah, sorry. I was curious. I didn't know.
What could you describe the workout stations, what they'll consist of?
Just like a regular park that we have some push-up bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have a big weight.
Not a big anything like that.
No.
Nothing that.
Just solid structures you can't break.
These are permanent stations will be located on opposite ends of the track. I don't know if it'll be on the track itself or just right off inside the grass area near the track.
If you've ever been out to Venice, there's a running area, you can see them out there, they're like that.
My question was, who is going to monitor the like I know we're already having some issues with people using the property, that's one. That's what they do.
Well, part of the goal, Mr. Shadlin, is, and this is still to be determined.
Right.
We want to possibly open up that track on the weekends for the community to walk it, to ride bicycles, to maybe use the push-up stations, and they're not gonna be able to carry them off. So I think it's a great thing to just families to go there maybe in the evening. We'll have to see how that can be separated with its own entrance
That's all I
and
was
exit.
thinking about.
Yes.
Okay, we're on the same page. I was just concerned because I'm going back
A
also
little
last
bit
year.
ahead of us.
Well, no, I'm going back to last year too, dealing with the high school, we're dealing with break-ins, we want my people on the bike.
Okay, next, Goal 2, Action 24, Welcome and Enrollment Center. This is an action that we're already doing. We're just going to use supplemental and concentration funds to pay for 50% of the enrollment coordinator position. So that's the Ed Services Office, and they provide a variety of services. I'll give you a second to read that. Any questions, comments about the Welcome and Enrollment Center?
Is that just part of the enrollment center right now?
Next, Goal 4, Action 6, Recruitment and Retention. I'll give you a minute to read that. Any questions or comments about recruitment and retention? Okay, next we have additions to our current actions where we've added additional funding to actions that were already in the LCAP. First is Goal 1, Action 1, Professional Learning Communities. We've added $200,000 to the budget for PLCs to pay for additional training. We've already contracted for that training with Solution Tree. Questions or comments about professional learning communities?
Proof of that there, you added 200,000 to this year's budget, it's already 50/50.
Yeah, so we use other funds to pay for PLCs as well. We were using 55,000 in supplemental and concentration. Now we've added 200,000 to that. Goal and action for monitoring student progress. Per the LCAP committee, we want to look at other assessment platforms besides Renaissance Star, Reading Star, Math Star, Early Literacy. So this will pay for piloting additional assessment platforms. Any questions, comments about monitoring student progress?
So the assessment platform that we have is just the platform that we use so we know where our students are.
Yeah, we also use that data in our LCAP as well. So so it's primarily used for reporting for students to monitor their own progress, for teachers to monitor the progress of the students. There are family reports, so families can monitor their student progress. It helps us to group students. We can look at the progress of individual students, at groups of students, at classes, at grades, at schools. We can look at subgroups of students. We can see how our foster youth, our ELs, et cetera, are doing.
Different, what alternative assessment programs will be able to do that, or we can do that now?
We can do all of that now. There's been feedback that the program that we're using now, Renaissance, is not user friendly. There's a lot of reports, so people are having a hard time finding the report, the data that they're looking for. A big thing with assessment platforms is how they tie into a learning program. So all of these assessment platforms have learning programs that are built on top of them. So, ideally what you want is a program where, we pinpoint what a student knows and what they don't know, and now they go to the learning program and they fill in the gaps of the things that they don't know. So that's really the goal. Goal on Action 5, reading intervention. We have new reading intervention curriculum, and this will pay for that curriculum and training, and that's a budget of $90,000.
And this is a successful phonics, fast start phonics and kinder phonics program. Tutoring with Lightning Squad is just a very small piece of that. It's more the phonics piece that we wanted to work on, was one of the board goals last year. And so this is to help supplement that and increase the use of it within our K-2 classes.
Okay, questions, comments about reading intervention? Okay, next is the CTE program. We're adding $275,000 to the CTE budget. That'll pay for additional faculty, additional equipment, and supplies.
And the CPE program is actually very well supported by the community. No other school does this program in the valley. So it's, keep it up.
We have a new college and career counselor position that we've posted, and this would pay for 50% of that as well. Questions, comments, CTE program? Okay, goal 1, action 10, credit recovery. The credit recovery program isn't changing. We're just paying for part of it with supplemental and concentration funds. So we're paying for 50% of the Acellus courseware and any extra duty hours that teachers have for teaching credit recovery after school. Questions, comments for credit recovery? Okay, next goal 1, action 13, dual enrollment college classes. This would pay for 50% of the college and career counselor position, and also pay for books and supplies that our students have who take college classes.
Right now, we don't have a full-time counselor.
We have 2 full-time counselors, but we're
For the college and career, no.
We haven't filled the position.
I remember, was it last year? Yeah, a couple years ago. We had one that would come in from college, and It's only here like maybe a week or something like that.
Pre-COVID.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think it would.
And this would be one that we would hire ourselves and they would be there full-time
It would,
and help with the college career, the dual enrollment, as well as with several other things such as the CTE, and AVID, implementation, and making sure the kids do their remember the A through G requirements was a piece of that. So this is a position for that particular counselor that
No,
would
I think that,
encompass all of those different things.
that's great. That's great. We didn't have that.
Yeah, we posted it last year, and we're still looking for somebody.
Okay, that was gonna be my question. I'm getting some more.
Could we also add on that, like maybe, helping the kids get scholarships?
Ooh, yeah.
I think this position should be that would be part of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, but
I'm pretty sure that was in the job description we created.
Right, I want to make sure that that's the expectation and not like, oh, I didn't know.
I'm pretty sure it was in the job, yeah, Leanne and I put the job description together and I'm pretty sure that was part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and to piggyback on that, Kim, every email that I get regarding a scholarship available for our students is automatically forwarded on to the high school counselors, because who knows better what students there meet those qualifications than the counselors and the administrators. I always
But definitely, if we're doing dual enrollment, they definitely would be.
And they did receive quite a few scholarships last year at the scholarship night. I know Mr. Vincent and I were both there. Quite a few scholarships passed out that evening.
any additional questions or comments about dual enrollment college classes? Okay, next, supplemental learning applications. We've added 50,000 to have a total budget of 145,000 to pay for all of the learning software that we use. And there's not any real changes to this. We're just using supplemental and concentration funds instead of other funds. Questions or comments? Okay, goal 2, action 1, capturing kids' hearts. We've added $100,000 in supplemental and concentration funds to capturing kids' hearts. That pays for, we did 2 large trainings over the summer, capturing kids' hearts 1 and 2, and the cost for the trainers and the extra GB hours was $100,000. So I believe we've already spent the additional $100,000. Any questions or comments about capturing kids' hearts? Okay, next is surveys. This doesn't change. We're just going to pay for part of my salary out of this action because I do the surveys. Questions or comments about surveys? On a scale of 1 to 5. No, I'm just kidding.
So you don't want that answer. If you're gonna ask Dan, you don't want the answer.
Okay, goal 2, action 10, multi-tiered system of supports. We have an ongoing contract with Dr. Becky Wetzel, who's providing ongoing training and professional development in multi-tiered system of supports. And this pays that support contract. It also pays for the cost of our current integrated data systems software KIDS, which is our student data analytics program. Any questions about MTSS? Okay, next is transportation. We added $100,000 to transportation for a budget of nearly $1.4 million in contributing funds for transportation. We're adding buses and drivers, a sped bus and a van. Questions or comments about transportation?
I don't see AC units on that.
Okay. Next, goal 2, action 19, assistant principals. We've added a new assistant principal of athletics position, and this primarily pays for the salary and benefits for that position. questions or comments? Next, goal 2, action 22, music and band. We added $100,000 to pay for additional band equipment.
Yes, very good.
Okay. Questions or comments? Goal 3, action 2, communication with school community. This has 2 pieces. The first piece is the new community center that we've added, and this will pay for classes and trainings and informational purposes. We also are piloting new communication software called Parent Square or Aries Communication, which would give us a unified communications platform instead of using Blackboard and Class Dojo and Remind and Constant Contact. We would use one unified platform. So this is paying for that pilot. Any questions, comments?
I know so you said areas would accomplish all that. Are we using the piloted version now?
We've had a few teachers at the high school send out a few messages so far, but we haven't really started using it. But the plan is to kick off the pilot in the month of September. So we will kick it off this month.
Okay.
Okay, goal 4, action 1, professional development. This is a big one. We've added $377,000 to our professional development budget. This includes an extensive coaching program with KCSOS in all of our core subjects. They'll be coming out numerous times for all the subjects to provide ongoing coaching. We have teacher clarity training, which is our contract with Doug Fisher to provide training for the visible learning program. And then we have other training programs as well. Any questions or comments about professional development? All right, last but not least, supplemental science resources. We've added $50,000 to pay for additional science resources for our science program. Okay, are there any last questions or comments about the revisions that we've made to the LCAP? Okay, and then we will put the LCAP on the agenda for next Wednesday for board approval. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan.
Motion by Nicolette. Seconded by Victor. All in favor? Aye. Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between Southern Kearns Unified School District and the California Employees Association concerning the subtracting out of a campus CSO position. Ms. Gibbs.
Yes, this is in regards to the night security, campus security at Roseman High Urban College campus. And I want to thank CSEA for very quickly working on this MOU for us and allowing us to have this. And I believe it's through June 30th of 2023. So we will have the night security will be there on that campus. As well.
Motion to accept the MOU. So moved.
Second.
Motion by Vincent, seconded by Hepburn. All in favor?
Aye.
Four ayes. Students? Yes. Approved. Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between Southern Kearns Unified School District and the California School Employees Association, concerning the transfer between a special ed one-on-one para educator and para educator special education classification. Explain.
Okay, if you'll remember a few meetings ago, there was some concern. Speaker talked about their concerns, classified, who was concerned about us moving positions, let's say a one-on-one, moving them into a classroom paraeducator or vice versa, without going through the process. They are two distinct job classifications, and after looking at the descriptions are almost verbatim the same. However, they are two distinctly different classifications. The CSEA has granted us the freedom to leave the ones that we moved where they are currently through the end of the year or until we renegotiate again. And at that time, they will either return to their prior, if they were moved from a one-on-one to a classroom para, they could return to a one-on-one providing we had the need. And, or they would have the option of staying where they are. So instead of us having to move everybody back, again, I thank CSEA for putting that in place for us so that the team that moved them felt that the moves were needed. Four employees that worked on those moves, but again, what came down to the process was not followed on our part. And so that's why we asked them to forgive and forget and give us an MOU for now, so we can keep the placements where they are.
Need a motion?
Motion?
Motion for Pepper, seconded by
I'll second
Select. All in favor?
it. Aye.
Aye. Consider approval of application for the 2022-2023 California Department of Education District Consultant Consolidated Application and Reporting System for categorical funds, state and federal programs. Mr. Irving.
All right. So this is just a annual update of part of the process for applying for Title I, Title II, Title III, Title IV funds is that the board signs off on yes, the district can apply for these funds. So for the 22-23 year school year, we're applying for Title I, Title II, Title III English learner, and Title IV funding from federal government. And then for each of these have their own little category. Title I is for to help low socioeconomic students. Title II is for certificated training and further instruction for teachers. Title III for the English learners goes towards supporting the EL program and the annual testing with the needing to use staff for what used to be called the CEL, and I don't remember the name of it. LPAC, there we go. And then Title IV is used for student support, additional supplemental supplies, technology, things that would, not necessarily fall under the same caveat as Title I, but still additional supports for students.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion by Hepburn, seconded by
I'll second
Select. All in favor?
Aye.
4 ayes. Yes. Approve the following list of personnel items.
I don't think
Anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions or issues. Anybody else?
I've got one, probably be hated, but I mean, I don't want to sensitive, I guess you might say, insensitive, but I'm tired of COVID.
Well, I think we all are.
The COVID thing, I mean, is it still necessary, or are we still putting in that much work where we gotta have a team?
We still have.
Still got a lot of testing going on?
Yes. People are still busy.
Mr. Bender, so, it's still in place that, any non-vaccinated staff still have to test weekly. So, that's now being done at school sites. So that's where the additional, the LPN are taking care of that portion of that. But there's still, just a lot of, contact tracing, notifying people, and part of just seeing the emails. I don't actually have any inputs, I leave that to the experts. But there's still quite a bit, definitely decreased from what it was, but, they're still working on it, keeping everybody safe, notifying people. So,
Pretty nationwide.
If you'll notice, Mr. Bender, every week in the Friday letter, Mr. Paul Irving, his little section under Friday letter, the actual number, because they monitor. We have two really very active COVID teams. One that deals with the adults in the district, and the other one, which is student COVID, where all the parents can and do on a regular basis email if their child is tested positive, or so there's this small group of people monitor both of those sites daily, besides their regular jobs.
I'm getting tired of it.
This is for the whole year, right? It is,
Yeah.
and just on, I think that they can monitor it, over the year, so that way they can, give people information about what they should do for the following week. So it's, some daily job for them.
It really is. I wish we had no longer had a need. Not that I don't want to give them this stipend, but it's, you'll notice the numbers just from a week before last, pretty significant.
I still get phone calls, so I know they're doing something, but if you think it's needed, I hope we stop next. I'm not.
Well, Jim, we would all love to stop it. I can guarantee you that.
I don't think there's anybody that loves.
No, least of all. And the only comment is on the volunteers. The last two are NASA robotics, just to let everybody know. So our team from NASA, so we want to make sure that we're moving forward with those two. So,
And Mr. I'm trying to mispronounce his name,
Voracek.
Voracek was the keynote speaker at the superintendent meeting at the time, and he talked very highly of the Roseman High robotics team and how they would like NASA, the volunteers from NASA, the gentlemen who both of them work at NASA, would love to see a robotics team more in Kern County, Bakersfield area. They're willing to support that. But so far, there's just not really been anything at our level because our kids compete in the valley and other areas outside the state, etc. So it was really good to hear all the wonderful things about the Roseman High robotics team.
And NASA encourages their engineers to participate big time.
I notice we got a promotion for Timothy. Is he both jobs? Food worker and infrastructure?
Those are all.
That's it all.
He moved from food service to
Kind of
I'm moving to the personnel changes.
second it? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Under protest.
Give it a chance. Just trying to figure out what.
I'm so excited about this.
I will second that.
Now you want a second. I know.
Lunch is gonna get eaten with me, I know.
What was the motion by, was it Lexi?
Yes.
And you seconded it?
Yep.
I would like to maybe.
All in favor?
Forward.